question, which is I think it's a very important question because I'm also a small business owner.
That's right. So, Mr. Gwynton, what are the options for small business owners?
That is probably where I spend most of my time. We do a lot of individual work. A lot of my agents do individual work, but I spend most of my time actually with the small business, so people who work for small businesses who don't provide that insurance. So I'll go over a few things with you, and it was a great conversation that I had with several business owners last week. There's so many additional things that you're able to do. Number one, all the things we mentioned on the first question regarding the options of Obamacare, indemnity plans, faith, you can do all those things, and you can support your employees to do all those things. But you also have the ability to have a commercial plan.
I see.
Okay, and have a commercial plan and be able to have those traditional PPOs, HMOs, the commercial that's accepted by whomever. Before I forget, I do want to mention this, that the plans on ACA and even many of your commercial plans, they are not accepted at MD Anderson. Okay, some of them are not accepted at MD Anderson. And now, before we leave, I want to make sure I emphasize a couple of plans that include. I don't want to say them on the radio, but if you guys reach out to me, there's some specific plans you need to consider if you're dealing with mental health issues with yourself or your children. If you have experiences with cancer, heart attack, stroke, end-stage renal, any of those major deals, where I can make sure that you're in plans that give you access to Methodist or give you access to Memorial. It's very important because those are some of the leading hospitals in the state and in the country. So we want to make sure you have access to those things. So it gives you the option for those plans. So be aware, though, be conscious. There's a significantly more cost. So one of the things that I've been doing with small businesses, many of them that have a traditional commercial type plan, and been able to save literally thousands. I just recently saved a doctor's office, a pediatrician, $36,000 a year, and her team actually has better coverage than they had on the commercial plan because to get the cost down, it's a balancing act with a small business.
Right.
Your resources are a little bit different than the resources of your employees. And so you can afford to pay a little bit more. So they get a lot of pushback from them not wanting to plan because it costs too much. And to get the cost down, you have to go to a higher deductible, which makes utilization a lot tougher. So what we've been doing is that we do one of three things. We either leave the owners on a commercial plan and help them transition and use the employees on an ACA plan. This worked perfectly if you have under 50 employees. Over 50 employees, a different scenario. Secondly, we move everybody to a ACA plan because some of those baseline plans you pay $500, $600, $700 a month or more. I mean, we've talked about your experience. You love your premium, right?
I love it. It's more than $1,000.
But they can have a better situation with plans. We focus heavily on utilization. So with the business owner, you're able to do both of those. But another thing I do often with business owners, a lot of business owners have kids that are in college or have kids in their teen years. Now, this is something you need to talk to your tax accountant about it, but many of my business clients do this, and I do it myself. So what we actually do is that, particularly, I don't have a child in college, but many of my business owners have children in college. We technically get our business owner to literally pay their kids. Have the kids file their own tax. It starts their process of building credit.
Sure.
If you got to pay all that money for their school and all this other stuff, why not pay it to them, let them pay their own insurance? And what that does, it reduces your taxability. Because if you're earning $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year, your tax bracket is a little different than paying your kid $15,000, $20,000 a year, right?
Right.
And then they use those to pay for school expenses and whatever they are. You're going to spend the money there anyway.
Right.
In those situations, the tax rate is 15%, which is just Social Security, versus the 30, 40, or 50%, that you may be paying on yours. So we talk about all different types of strategy of, with your family, with your employees, being able to have a mix in plans. So having a plan that's for the leadership and having a plan that's for your staff. But that's a very deep conversation that we can have. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us at 832-626-7791, and we can go into the details to make sure that you can leave thinking. And I guarantee you, in all situations, we're able to save you money. But that's a much deeper conversation for a longer period of time.
Absolutely, and do reach out, because with all personal experiences, everybody around me, I think you've spoken to so many people around me now, and he's helped people around me. So reach out. It's always good to at least discuss. You want to go ahead, accept it, change, but
Just review. Give us an opportunity to
yeah,
review it.
exactly.
And one more important thing. One of the things that I spent the first 7 years in my career doing nothing but Medicare. Learn it backwards and forward, teach agents. I've taught agents all over the nation Medicare.
Wow.
And I really missed it by not being engaged in the individual. Because the most important part about Medicare is how you transition from your individual
Individual to
or
your
commercial
commercial to-
or your commercial. Because I help people all the time pick, select their plans on the commercial policy. We just do it as a customer service thing, just help them transition. So we help eliminate situations for the Part B penalty, selecting the right plans. And a lot of companies, if you have less than 20 employees, there are government regulations around you're supposed to go onto Medicare. You're not supposed to. We help you determine whether or not to take your Part B, to pay it out of pocket, or what you should do in those scenarios. There's a lot of special requirements. And in our community, I see so many people get penalized.
Right.
Hear me on this. If you have COBRA and you're about to turn 65, you cannot stay on that COBRA. If you do, you will be penalized. Another big one I see, if you're on an ACA plan and you decide, and you're of age and you qualify for Medicare, and you decide, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. My ACA is $20, but my Part B premium is $148.50. I'm not going to do that. Guess what? You're going to get penalized for your Part B and for your Part D for the rest of your life. That penalty does not go away. And there is no, I'm sorry, I didn't know, no one told me. What they said, it is cut and dry. If you don't meet those requirements, you don't do it, you are paying that penalty for the rest of your life. So that transition is very important to us. That's why we started doing ACA about 6-7 years ago, is because we want to make sure that people transition from that the ACA or from their commercial insurance correctly into Medicare, and then we evaluate their plans while they're in Medicare.
Absolutely. So basically, it's very, very, very important to reach out to him, go over those plans, go over the transition. He's going to be there with you to explaining during the process. When you reach the 65 and you change the transition, all of that, all you have to do is reach out to him, and it'll be taken care of. Before